Hey everyone, Jen here of Neurotic Mommy. Welcome back to my channel. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing and give this video a like if you find it helpful so that YouTube picks it up and shares it with others. You guys know that my gratitude is very much in abundance today. That kind of made no sense. Anyway, we're going to do our weekly card read, but also I wanted to just bring up that there's a lot of past stuff coming up. A lot of things resurfacing from the past. I know last week we talked about dreams, and I feel like dreams has been really big coming into this week. There's a lot of old wounds coming to the surface, a lot of reminiscent, a lot of nostalgia coming back up for people. It's been really intense, and I'm going to address that today. And I know when I pull the cards, it's going to reflect that too, and it'll give us some guidance on what we can do to move forward to get past this. Because sometimes what happens is if something resurfaces, or if an ex comes back, or something from the past comes back, we go back into that comfortableness of that, and we forget why it maybe ended or why that situation didn't work out. You don't want to go and read the same book twice. You're only going to get the same ending, right? So we have to use discernment and see, why is this coming back up for me? Why is this person coming back into my life after all this time? What's happening? Why are these dreams resurfacing? I feel there's a lot of reoccurring dreams going on, and it's almost like, you know, when you're dreaming but you wake up and you know it's so real. And I know I touched on this in last week's video about how these could be visitations, like be a communication between two people telepathically, or sometimes you're doing fine, nothing's on your mind, and then all of a sudden these memories pop into your head, or a person pops into your head, or a situation pops into your head. It's because the other person is like almost triggering you because they're thinking about you in that time. I know there's a lot of things around how to tell if someone's thinking about me, but there are ways, especially like if you're just like using the bathroom and all of a sudden you have like a memory pop in of someone and you're just like, where is this coming from? I'm not even doing anything that would even trigger or remotely make me think of whoever this person is. So this is coming up a lot, and it's not significant like, oh, is it I'm meant to be with this person? Should I call them? No, it doesn't mean any of that. Your higher self, your guides are showing you a repeated pattern that's coming up for you currently in your present life, and maybe another situation with another person, or a job, career move, or a decision that you have to make. And it's coming up to show you like, this is what you normally do, and this is the outcome that you usually have. So let's look at it a little bit differently and see maybe if we want to tackle it in a different way. But I mean, there's a lot of things coming through for this week. As always, Spirit's very excited. So I guess we'll just get right into the cards. Remember, I do a spread of 3. You can pick 1, 2, or 3. And honestly, if you pick 1 and you feel like 2 or 3 resonated with you more, this is like a general reading. So if 1 resonates with you more than another card, that's okay. If they all 3 make sense to you, you're meant to be here. You're meant to listen to this. You're meant to get this guidance. So don't feel like, oh my God, I picked number 2, but I really feel like number 3 is for me. This is just a sequence of, the cards give you like a story. They basically tell a story. It's just helpful guidance and constructive guidance, I feel, that they put forth for us, and I utilize it. I think the cards are fun. But also, I always say the cards never lie, right? If you do tarot or oracle readings, you know that the cards, they will just give it to you straight. You can reshuffle the deck and be like, no, that's not the card I want, and then it will just throw that same card at you because you just need to pay attention to the message that's coming through. A lot of the times people think that psychics and mediums like myself, we're going to tell you what you want to hear, but that's really, I don't work that way in my private sessions. I tell you what you need to hear and what comes through from Spirit, because I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, you're going to find love October 21st, and then October 22nd, you're like, Jen, I didn't find love. Like, you lied to me. Why did you lie to me? So I would never do that. I'm very forward and straight up. Even generally, like as a friend to my friends, I'm that way. I'm not going to like sugarcoat things for you, but I'm also really sensitive to how people feel, and I'm not going to be mean about it either. I think there's a way you go about telling people something that's very sensitive. If someone's struggling in their life with something there's a way that you go in it as a psychic medium or a tarot reader, and you give them constructive guidance on what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. Like, for instance, I had a reading, and I wanted, this was back in June, and I wanted to move like literally the next day. I just wanted to be out of this apartment. It was like, I just want to move. And the reader was like, I know that you want to move right now, but it's not going to happen for you right now. It's probably going to happen for you in the next 8 to 12 months. And I was like, dun, dun, dun. Like, why? Why can't I move tomorrow? Anyway, that's just an example, but that really did happen to me. And I was just like, okay, there's a reason why I'm not going to move tomorrow. And there's a reason why it's going to be within an 8 to 12 month time frame. Long story short, it ended up to be that. So it's not that if something's not happening for you, or you're not getting something the way you want, it's not that spirit or your loved ones don't want you to have it. It's just, it's probably not the right time, or it needs to happen in a different way. And I know I talked about that last week too. If you missed last week's reading, I'll link it here. It's about looking at things in a new light, or from a different perspective, or maybe going at something from a different angle. When I do these readings, everything correlates with each other. So this is how it always is. It gives constructive messages that correlate from last week, the week before, and the week before, and the week before, because things, can keep resurfacing and coming up. And it's just like, oh, I just want to move past this. And you will. And then it'll be something else. It's always something. That was so Jersey. But hey, if the shoe fits. All right, so let's get into this week's card reading. Remember, you can pull cards 1, 2, or 3, or draw all 3. They're all meant for you. Here we go. So before we get into it, if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up so YouTube shares it with other people who also may find this helpful. And I'd love for you to join my community and hit that subscribe button as well. If you're not already, I'd be ever so grateful. You guys know that already. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first card that was pulled is Body Care. I'm interrupting your weekly card reading to let you know that you can now book in-person sessions with me. I'll link all the information and details below, and I hope to heal with you soon. What this tells me is, 1, you need to focus more on yourself rather than keep your mind concentrated on the past. There's a lot of going backwards, thinking about what could have been, how it should have happened, how things should have played out. So this card wants you to bring your focus back to your current state of being and focus on yourself. Body care means physically, also mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So put the focus back onto yourself. Start to incorporate more healthful foods into your diet, like dark leafy greens, root vegetables, especially this time of year. If you're in the US, it's the fall. We're going into the winter soon. So a lot of grounding foods. When this happens and things like this occur and you feel like you're being pulled back, you have to be more grounding. You can do this by just having the intention of saying, I want to be more grounded. You can take a shower and envision the water removing energy that doesn't belong to you, and literally it's going down the drain. Put the focus back into yourself in the present moment. Don't think about, or try not to think about, or when you realize that you're going back and you're replaying stories that have happened to you in the past and analyzing it and overthinking about it, bring your awareness back to the present moment and focus on yourself and what you need in that moment right now. This is what this card is telling me. Focus on the present moment. You'll have more energy, more happiness when you're doing more inner work for yourself, and not necessarily for other people or past stuff that's been coming up for you. Essentially, the past things that have happened are like dreams. It's almost like, did it even happen? They're gone forever. So no point in dwelling on it. You have to live for the moment, and don't even stress about the future, because things happen when they're supposed to. So when you do this and you focus on yourself and you bring awareness to yourself and what you need and your needs, you'll find that you'll have more motivation, more determination, more inspiration, more creativity to do things, to move forward in a constructive way for yourself. Then that emanates out from you and it creates shifts in other areas of your life. Card 2 is blessings. This signifies for me that a lot of you have been asking for guidance or for help, but you feel abandoned, you feel alone, you don't feel like anyone's listening to you, you don't feel like your prayers or anything has been answered. You just, somebody threw you out to the wolves, you're left in the dust. That is not the case. You have a ton of spiritual support around you, your loved ones, guides, angels, God. God gives us this. God gives us this to have. He's not like this mean guy in the sky who's like, no, everybody has to suffer. That's not how I envision God. I envision God in all-encompassing love, just a radiant love and light of purest source, whatever you call it, universe, source, spirit, God. This is letting me understand and giving me the feeling of there's been lost hope, and people have been feeling lack of blessings or lack of love and support. And you do have that. And sometimes when you're alone and crying and feel like you're struggling or like you've hit rock bottom, you get to that point for a reason, and then you rise up even stronger than before. Even if you're not at that point and you just feel like you're stuck, like energetically stuck or stagnant, meditating is very, very helpful. Even if you think you don't know how to do it, or you're a newbie or a beginner, all you have to do is sit there for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, however much time you have, and sit there and observe your thoughts. It's not about not having any thoughts. Meditation is about having the thoughts, allowing them to be there, but not entertaining them. So when a thought comes in, don't go down the rabbit hole and think of everything you have to do. Just watch it pass by and then stay centered. It'll give you more clarity. You'll feel much better. You release a lot of energy that's not yours. You pick up energy from other people on a day-to-day basis all the time, even if it's through Zoom or remotely. It doesn't matter. People walking by where you live or neighbors, anything. You get off the phone with someone, there's energy that remains that's not yours. You just have to expel it and you'll feel so much better. Back before I, started to really hone in on my abilities and understand what I was going through and feeling, I would get intense, massive headaches. I would get really bad shoulder, neck cramps, and super high anxiety. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, I was fine 2 minutes ago, but I was picking up on a neighbor that lived under me who was going through really tough times. I didn't know it at the time that that's what I was picking up on. In hindsight, now I understand that that's what was going on. When I learned this about myself, and even people passing by me that maybe have had a hard time or a rough day that day, that's not that they're a bad person. People have bad days. So it can jump out onto you and latch onto your energy. And then you just have to, it's like taking a shower every day. You just clear your energy, and it just takes a moment in your mind to just be like, I clear the energy that doesn't belong to me, and I call back all my energy that has been put out there throughout my day. And so all your energy comes back to you, and you release the energy that never belonged to you in the first place, and you'll feel so much better. So your prayers are being answered, maybe just not in the way you expect them to, and you do have support. You have not been abandoned. So I hope that was helpful. Card number 3, signs. Every time I pick up this card, I think of that song, signs, signs everywhere, signs. In my private sessions, in my readings, and in my healing sessions, Spirit does give me songs, and I go on, and I was taught this by my teacher, Lindsay. When Spirit gives me songs, I pay attention to the feeling that it gives me and what it's trying to tell me in that way. And then I speak to my client about what's coming through in that sense. So right now, what I'm telling you is you're getting signs, but you just need to start paying attention to them. I feel like a lot of you are like, I want to see a yellow bubble like appear right in front of me. That's the only sign I'm going to take, and that's it. That's all I want to see. That'll be my sign. I'll know it's for real. That's not how it works. They give you signs constantly. Maybe you hear a song, like all of a sudden out of nowhere, your attention is caught by some song you heard, or a song pops into your head and you're like, where did this come from? Pay attention to that. That's a sign. I didn't even know. Or when a catchphrase comes into your head and you're like, that's snazzy. I didn't even think of that. Like, how did this come into my mind? That's a sign. Then you see birds or things like oddly catch your attention where you're like, you notice a bird for some strange reason. Like the bird could have been there every single day in the same spot, same time, every single day, but for some reason that day it caught your attention. That's a sign. Sit in those moments for a few minutes and just pay attention to what you're feeling, what's coming through, how it's making you feel. Coins, feathers, things like that. Those are all signs. Synchronicities, like seeing the same number. When you see the same thing over and over, it's just signs that the angels, your guides, they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to make you pay attention to something that they're either showing you or guiding you on. And sometimes they just want to come down and shake you and be like, oh, we're giving you all these signs. Like, pay attention. They're here. And I know even for me, I'll get testy and I'll be like, you know what? I want to see a purple car. But it can't be just like any purple. It has to be like a shiny purple, like a really cool purple. Well, this is a true story. And this was all in my mind because I was having a day and I was like, you know what, universe? If this is all real, then I want a sign and I want to see a purple car, but not just any. So the universe also has a sense of humor. So later on that day, it was like 8:30 at night. My little sister called me and she wanted to talk to my son. And she said, oh, tell him to get or to bring my favorite purple car. And I was like, your favorite purple car? She's like, yeah, he has this, we play with these cars. He has this purple car that I like. So when my son brought it to me, it was exactly the color that I thought in my head. And I was like, touche, universe, touche. I mean, it wasn't like a car in the street, but it was a car. It was in my hand. I mean, if that wasn't a spiritual bitch slap, I don't know what is. But that to me was a clear indication. I don't think I ever tested the universe again. I was like, oh my gosh, I need a sign. Like now I'm just more open to receiving them. Sometimes they really are very direct and very like not coincidental. I mean, people can say, oh, it's a coincidence, but I don't believe in coincidences. But pay attention to the signs that are going on around you. Don't think it's in your head. Don't think you're making it up. That's a lot of the times what we do too. We think we're making it up because we want to see it or we want it to appear. And no, you're not. You're not forcing things to happen. You're getting direct signs, direct guidance from the support that you think you don't have, but is there. I promise you, no one is left just to like thrown in the dust, left to the wolves. That's not how the universe works. If you are constantly thinking in that mindset of like abandonment, alone, I have nothing, I have nothing, I have nothing, you're going to keep seeing that in your life because you're repeating that in your life. And your spiritual self, your higher self, God, your guides and your angels, they don't want to see you do that. You have to ask for help. That's why we have free will. They can't just come in and fix things for us. There's also lessons that we have to learn: acceptance, forgiveness. So it's a lot. I know it's like, why does it have to be so hard? It really doesn't. We can uncomplicate things and just step off the hamster wheel and do our own thing and do everything from love. Because a lot of the times when you encounter people that are going through something or they're hostile or irritable, moody, it's because they're just vibrating from a place of fear. And once you can see past that, you'll have more compassion and sympathy for a lot of things that you come into encounter with on a day-to-day basis. Even when I do reflect back on past things that have happened to me in my life or people that I've had in my life with relationships, I have no animosity towards them like I once did. It takes up a lot of room in your heart and your mind. And when you let that go, you create so much space for more of you to take over and feel the happiness within and feel that joy within. And I show those people appreciation for bringing me to this point or being a part of my journey in a sense. Because I've gone through really tough times in my life, really dark times, and even with people have been really crappy to me. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm sure I was crappy to people, but I mean, I'm generally all around amazing, clearly. Haha. Everyone needs to like take a breath, take a step back, reflect, go at things from a different angle like we talked about last week, be open-minded to different perspectives, or open your mind up, open your heart up. Don't have all these barriers and blockades in front of you. Take care of yourself. Do what makes you happy and what's fun. You have support. You're being supported. You're being divinely guided. Have faith in that. Hold on to that faith and pay attention to the signs around you. And that's it for this week's card reading. I hope that it was helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, and I'd be ever so grateful. And I'll see you guys on Friday for our guided healing meditation. Bye.